Star 105.5. It's time for Wild to interview famous people.
On the phone, Jim Shearer of VH1's 100 Greatest Music Artists of All Time. The host, the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, dude?
100 greatest ever.
Ever.
I think that needs some reverb, too, like ever.
It's like Sunday. No, but the show's not on Sunday. But we'll talk about that later. But anyway, it's the top 100 artists of all time ever. And it's got to be tough to come up with a list of 100 artists without having those moments where you're like, oh, I forgot that guy.
Yep. Well, you know what? It's tough watching, although it's good watching, too. It's good TV. Some I agree with, some I don't. And it was tough to host because I was like, I don't want people to think that I picked this list or I had anything to do with the list because music, you know, people get very passionate about it. But what we did is we had over 200 musicians and music experts. And if you want to get technical, I asked someone a couple weeks ago, and I think it was around, the number was like 215, 216. We had people like James Hetfield of Metallica, Geddy Lee of Rush, 50 Cent, Robert Smith of The Cure, Ozzy Osbourne, Rob Halford of Judas Priest. They picked their favorite artists of all time. We put that into a master list. So if you're going to blame anyone, you have to blame these people.
Good, because I got a bone to pick with a couple.
All right. Well, what are the bones that you need?
Number 99, Hall & Oates. Seriously, they're not higher.
I know.
The two guys sported some of the greatest mullets of rock and roll. If you can call it they did rock and roll. But they're some of the greatest mullets you'll ever see.
Great mullets, great hits. Like if you pop in their greatest hit CD, a double CD because they had so many hits, you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, I forgot that they did that. I forgot that they did. So yeah, Hall & Oates, I'm glad that they're on the list, but I agree they should be higher.
I know. I mean, they should be at least above Beyonce, for crying out loud. Seriously.
I know.
Even above, I'm willing to reach on this one, but maybe even above Little Richard.
I agree. I was kind of surprised to see Little Richard on the list because, I mean, Little Richard at the birth of rock and roll, very important. But years have passed, and I was surprised to see him still very high on the list. Maybe
it needs to be one of those things that greatest rock and roll mullets of all time. Then we wouldn't be having this discussion right now because we know Hall & Oates would be up there.
And that's not a bad idea for a show. And from what I'm remembering, I think at the moment, Little Richard has sort of a mullet.
Now, the show is on every night this week except for Friday. You guys can catch it at 9 o'clock our time. It's the 100 greatest music artists of all time. And, of course, the panel is music industry experts, artists, all that stuff.
Yes, and we had 40 artists last night because we showed 2 hours. So tonight, tomorrow night, and then Thursday, throw yourself a party, make nachos, make some of that spinach artichoke dip because we will go through the top 20 ever.
Give me your top 5 right now. I'm putting you on the spot.
My top 5?
Yes.
And this will evoke passion. I go Beastie Boys, Nirvana, Public Enemy, Weezer, and the Blastmaster KRS-One.
Ooh, interesting. Very bold. How about top 5 mullets? Go.
Oh, my goodness. Top 5 mullets, I'm going outside of the music genre into hockey. Barry Melrose, NHL coach, you cannot touch his mullet. And if you're talking music, Billy Ray Cyrus, greatest ever.
There are some cultures that actually worship that mullet.
So when you're talking about mullets, you've got to give much love and respect to the Beastie Boys, too.
100 greatest music artists of all time, or should I say, ever.
Yes, with a little reverb.
With a little reverb, of course. You guys can catch it on VH1, 9 o'clock tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Not Friday, because we know that, as Jim told me off the air, you guys covet your weekends. So
the weekends are special.
Exactly, dude. Thanks for taking time out of your day, brother.
Yep, take care.